In progress.
Okay, this will make your blood boil because it's definitely making mine. Promel Vendetta showed this particular article from Daily Mail. Tried for a sex crime because I brushed past a film star in Rush Hour. Rs 51 accused of bizarre hit and run assault on award-winning actress despite no evidence or witnesses. So why did it come to trial? Now, I'm going to answer this. Obviously, one, it's not bizarre. There's nothing bizarre about this. This is no more bizarre than black men getting beaten up in the South back in the 60s. So it's not bizarre. It's only bizarre to men because they don't want to admit how women view them and how society treats them. And notice they don't give the name of the award-winning actress. She doesn't get any fallout. That's what they do. They protect the women who are false accusing. This is an absolute case of false accusations. Now, their paths crossed precisely for half a second during evening rush hour at Waterloo Station. Now, walking towards him across the concourse was an award-winning star of film. Why they keep saying she's award-winning if they're not willing to say her name? TV, theater, and radio. She had just been to yoga class. Well, that doesn't say high status, does it? And was heading to a rehearsal. Neither knew the other, of course. What happened next, or what didn't happen, would cast Mr. Pearson what he calls a year-long Kafkaesque nightmare, in which he was only just escaped, for which he squarely blames the Crown Prosecution Service. He's right. He's right. The Crown Prosecution is to blame. Everyone should look. This guy was screwed over by the Crown Prosecution. They knew better to, when they looked at this evidence, they knew better than go with it. They knew they weren't going to win. So the only reason they did this was to punish the man. Men don't have to wind up in jail to get punished. He cannot be said with certainty that the artist and the actress made even flinting physical contact. The images showed only that they walked past each other. There he is. He's got right hand on his strap, left hand in his paper. Yet the woman, who's in her 60s, claimed Mr. Pearson sexually assaulted her penetratively for 2 or 3 seconds. Now, women do this because they can get away with it. This woman punished this man for no other reason than he is a man. And she punished him by using up a year of his life, making him spend his hard-earned money paying lawyers to defend himself from a bullshit charge. This was followed, she insisted, by a violent blow to her left shoulder. Images of the moments before and after they passed were captured in CCTV and shown to the jury, during which Mr. Pearson's 3-day trial at Blackfriars Crown Court in London last week. The Crown Court should have thrown this out. Matter of fact, this woman should be punished. This actress should have her name splayed all over the papers and have her thrown behind bars. That's where she belongs. And that's why that's why the MRM is an absolute must. An effective MRM, one that actually does what it's supposed to do. Men need it more than ever. They plainly demonstrated, as lawyer Mark Bagshaw said, that the allegation was not true. Yes, but it was obvious to the Crown prosecutors that it was untrue. So for them to go forward to this was just to harass this man who did nothing wrong to anybody. How could it be asked given a half a second time frame? Indeed, the images showed his client walking at a normal pace. He never broke stride. What's more, in his left hand, yeah, we know. Look, it's just repeating that how impossible it was. It doesn't matter if it's impossible. This man was punished at a woman's word. If they're going to do that to this man, what do you think it's going to do if there was any kind of evidence that they might actually have to look through? There were no witnesses and no forensic evidence. The actress failed to pick out Mr. Pearson identity parade video images, of course. Some low-level guy bumped into her and she said, "Who's this scumbag who dare touches me?" Summing up the case, the judge, His Honor Peter Clark, QC, told the jury that to convict that to convict Mr. Pearson, they had to be sure the assault happened to the actress as she described it. There could be no middle ground. No middle ground. Why is Peter Clark not throwing the case out and saying, no, there's no evidence for this at all? You're wasting the court's time. You're wasting this man's time, because guess what? The court doesn't see this as a waste of time. Them putting men through the rigors is something they want to do. That's why they don't see it as a waste of time. They're punishing this man. They're taking up his time and his money. Now, it came to no surprise to Mr. Pierce, though he was profoundly relieved and grateful, when the jury of 9 women, 3 men unanimously rejected the woman's story after deliberating for more than 90 minutes. They shouldn't have been deliberating at all. They should have just walked in and walked out and said, this is stupid. Put this woman behind bars. And he should be surprised, because I was surprised. They're willing to put this man through a year of hell. So I was surprised he wasn't falsely jailed. What he cannot understand, men can't understand that people hate them. What still gnaws at him, and when he wakes up at 4 a.m., his body shaking, is why the case reached course in the first place. Yeah, you see, men don't want to believe what's happening to them. People always hated men. It's just that it took this era for it to be spotlighted. Men just can't believe how much people hate them. One of the many frightening aspects is that this could have happened to anyone. Well, yes, any man. Not anyone, any man. Women are immune. Now, for me, half a second turned to a year of hell. Exactly. He was punished for a year. I feel I have undergone some form of mental torture sanctioned by the state. He doesn't feel it. He has been. Mark Pearson, this has happened to you. You have been subjected to mental torture for a year. You were punished for being a man. Goes without saying, the actress will remain anonymous. The law doesn't afford the same privilege to Mr. Pearson, who has undergone cognitive therapy for anxiety attacks brought on by the stress. Yeah, you see that what's going on? These false accusers have complete protection from the legal system. They want to brag her up and say she's an award-winning actress, but you can't know her name, so no fallout for her. Meanwhile, this guy has his name splashed everywhere. This will not happen when the genders are reversed. I guarantee that. Because if a man accuses a woman, they'll just throw it out. They might even jail him. The greater part of his anger is directed at the CPS, rightfully so, which, having assessed the evidence, decided to charge him with sexual assault by penetration. It is just bizarre. Why couldn't the CPS have used common sense? Mr. Pearson, the answer is they hate you. Every aspect of society in all countries has been infiltrated by feminism, and they don't like men. They hate men. So it isn't bizarre. It should be expected. And they are going to protect these disgusting criminals and attack the male citizens. Do you understand that, man, who watch this? If you're a man who's a citizen of a country, you are to be attacked. Now look at this. Over the past year or more, the CPS has been repeatedly stung by criticism of its decision-making in a series of high-profile sex cases. This has been, the feminists have been working on this for generations, and it has been getting continually worse since the 1960s. And we have reached what should be expected by men. If men could overcome their delusions. Men have to overcome their delusions. Society hates you, and you have to, as a class, demand respect from society. And this is why it's no longer crazy for me to say men have to join the MRM, and they have to make it an effective organization, because you need it. It's gotten to the point that media and the legal system and the education system is all geared to punish men for being born as man. You are innocent as children, but you're guilty of being born a man, of being born male. That's it. Mr. Pearson wonders whether he's a victim of the way CPS is regularly trying to redress the balance. What balance? The supporters, author Aaron Pearson, the family care activist who founded the world's first shelter of victims of violence, certainly believe so. Really, Aaron Pearson, you think there's a need to make something balanced? Women have always had privilege over men, always, all eras, all countries, everywhere. So this shows you that Aaron Pearson isn't men's friend either, or ally. She's giving a false feminist narrative. The CPS has recently been wrongly targeting men and has got to stop, she said. The CPS has no business going after him, Mr. Pearson, because there wasn't a case there from the beginning. Yes, of course there wasn't. Now, I'm going to put this in the description box because it's going to, what I'm going to do, this article is just going to repeat it. Like he was dumbfounded. What, really, why? Men are always dumbfounded until it happens to them and they can't figure it out. Even when they see this happen to men everywhere. So some man who'll read this article will still be dumbfounded when it happens to him. Like, men are pathetic. Anyway, I'm going to stop it here and you guys can read the article for yourself.